Hey everybody, David Johnson continuing 1 John chapter 3. I'll be reading from the King James Version. I do cross-reference from the New American Standard. Again, BibleGateway.com if you don't have a Bible on you. If you do, go ahead and turn to 1 John chapter 3. And we'll be picking up in verse 7 in part 2 here. Little children, let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous. He that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. Whosoever is born of God doth not commit sin, for his seed remaineth in him, and he cannot sin, because he is born of God. In this the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of God, neither he that loveth not his brother. For this is the message that ye heard from the beginning, that we should love one another, not as Cain, who was of the wicked one, and slew his brother. And wherefore slew he him? Because his own works were evil, and his brother's righteous. Alrighty, we're going to start back here at 7 and kind of do a little explanation along the way, kind of verse by verse thing here. I kind of call it play by play, but it's the same thing as the verse by verse. Little children, again, John loves to use that term. He's an old guy right now, old in spirit and elderly in spirit and elderly in age, talking out of his love to his church, and he's kind of feels like he not necessarily owns it out of pride, but kind of he's been there. He's been there and he's done that, and he's wanting to do what's best for everyone. And he's trying to use his wisdom he's accumulated over these years as wisely as possible. He's trying to fight off, like we talked about in chapter 2 and chapter 1, stop these dangerous philosophies of Gnosticism and you can do whatever you want to. Love's not important. Jesus didn't actually take physical form, part of that Gnosticism. He's trying to do the best he can here to put the basic ideas down to people in his last few books to everyone. He's trying to do the best he can to get people in line and to keep them in line. And he says the evidence is going to kind of speak for itself. Those who practice righteousness are the righteous, while those who practice lawlessness are the sinful or of the devil. He says this was the whole reason Jesus came, to destroy the works of the devil, who has been behind the works of sin from the beginning. He was the first sinner, and he got tossed out of heaven for it. That kind of makes sense to me. Also, the world knoweth us not because it knows him not. Again, we're kind of going to be a weird group of people because they don't understand the idea of God. I jumped back to number 1 there. Sorry about that. Oops. And we see him saying also, nobody who is reborn of God will practice sin. I don't mean ever, like I said before, that you'll never practice, sin, that you'll never make mistakes. I'm talking about practicing sin kind of like a doctor practices medicine. Make it your full-time goal, as in practicing. That is kind of, I think, what he means here. Making it a part of you as a common daily routine, I think is what he means by practicing sin. And not repenting of it, not turning away from this type of lawlessness. Which is another, what they define sin as, the acts of lawlessness. And not trying to seek spiritual guidance afterwards from other brothers to try to pull you out of this type of rut that you put yourself in, if it's some sort of bondage problem. When it usually is. And that's what the good thing about brethren is, that they'll be able to help you in your church. There's usually somebody in your church able to help you out. If no matter what type of bondage it is, they're going to be strong enough in your church to help you out of this thing, whatever it might be. And nobody who is reborn of God, I don't like to say born of God, I like to say reborn, because you were old and now what it once was old, God makes new. It's reborn spiritually. God's seed is in this person. And he goes on to say, this is how you tell the children of God and the children of the devil apart. Those who don't practice righteousness or cannot practice righteousness and are the people you see that cannot or do not love their brothers. They're unable to. They don't have the basic ideas of love ingrained in them. It's not planted in them. They have the ideas of love, hate, not love. Love's not there. I think we just said that. They have the ideas of pride, lust, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes. They've got selfishness. They're only caring about themselves. And no matter, come what may, they're going to be looking out for themselves, and they could care less about giving of them up their own selves, just so to make sure they get ahead. Now, and he also says, love is the message here that's been preached ever since the beginning. The beginning, of course, referring back to the time of Jesus himself when he came and preached to everyone. The beginning of the church. And we see the story of Cain and Abel here used as an example, the two different types of people. Cain, of course, had that hateful spirit acting, and it caused him to act out in evil. He had the seeds of hate in him. Abel had the seeds of righteousness and love in him. And it ended up Cain actually killing his brother. That's kind of the idea here, and I hope you guys got a little bit out of it. Alright, stay tuned for part 3 of 4. God bless.